Hello, hello, hello. This is the review of Uzumaki, and my consensus on it is just that it's shit. It's an awful show that no one should watch. It's basically about spirals and how people get overtaken by them, but it's not just that. It's just way stupider than that. So our main character is Kyrie, who's like a normal, typical high school girl who's talking about her town, and her boyfriend moves back in basically like from his college days or something, or wherever he goes to high school. He comes back to their town, Kurauzu town, and then he talks about how his father is like infected by like a curse of spirals, and basically it's the whole show. There's no plot to the show. Like you could be like, oh, this happens and that happens. The whole consensus of the show is there's a spiral and people get taken over by that. And the first person is the guy's father. Now the guy is just so stupid because he shows up like back in the town. He knows about the curse, but he shows up anyways, like a dumbass, because he wants to like recover the mystery or something, which is so stupid. Anyways, and then the father of the guy is basically like entranced by the spirals, and then he literally basically dies by really like grotesque ways, and he's just like he dies basically like in a spiral. Obviously, the whole show is just spirals, and I kind of got sick of that because every time they saw it, they're like, "Oh my god, there's a spiral! Oh my god, it's the curse of the spiral!" I'm like, "You knew about this," and this is the guy does it too. He does it all the time. I'm like, "You knew about this, bitch, and why are you still here?" So I just found that really like repetitive after a while. Not to mention the characters. The characters are so stupid. They basically like there's one episode where Kirya's hair turns into like little basically spirals, and she's like, "Oh, it's so weird. I'm just cut it off." And the girl's like, "Oh, you want to cut this off?" And she cuts it, and it just like envelops her inside her hair, which is honestly so stupid. And at the end, there's this girl who thinks that Kiri is getting a lot of attention, so she's like, "I can get more attention than you." So she also gets the hair and she goes insane. Basically, all the like grotesque, like the climax of the show, right? The grotesque shit that happens is basically, oh my god, we need something to happen that's like really gross, like humans meshing with each other, basically like becoming goo with each other's bodies, right? Really gross shit that's like really disgusting. Not even like scary, it's disgusting to watch. Like snail people and shit, like people like becoming snakes and stuff, and intertwined, and they have no explanation for this. The only thing they have explanation for is the spiral. And people just become like, oh, we're snails now because we're moving so slowly that we became snails. That's how it works. Oh, and we're becoming goo of humans, like human goo together because we've been in the space for so long that we just become into goo. And I'm like, that's so stupid. That makes literally no sense. What's your explanation for that? And I just feel like the whole show's like thing is that, oh, we just want to make something gross and it doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense. And the horror, I wouldn't even call it horror. It's just black and white. The animation obviously sucks, so I can't even be like, oh, look at that shot they did. That looks cinematic. It doesn't look cinematic. It looks kind of gross to look at. And like the episode I was watching, right? That's episode 2, where her hair gets cut off. Her hair becomes short, and rest of the episode, I was like, this animation looks kind of pretty. Like, I was like, episode 2 animation's kind of bad, but, like, it's not that bad. She looks pretty. And I was like, the next episode is just stupid. Because her eyes, like, in this episode, she's not infected by anything. Her eyes just look gross. Like the animation looks gross for no reason. I get the scary people need to look gross. It just looks gross for no reason. And the main character syndrome that they have is, like, Kyrie is the main character, obviously. Her boyfriend just fucks off after episode 2 or 3. He's just not around anymore. He's not important. And she goes to a hospital because, I don't know, she broke her leg. I don't remember that happening. Because she's in a lighthouse. And her friend, I don't know, her sister-in-law, she's pregnant. And there's, like, this epidemic going on where people just suck people's blood in the middle of the night. And they're like, what could that be? I don't know. And there's a whole thing with mosquitoes because they don't want mosquitoes around. And then her boyfriend brings like a spray to the hospital, and at the end, like climax of the episode was the good shit, which actually kind of got me. It was a little scary, I guess, a little bit. It was just pregnant ladies, they were like mosquitoes. Not cool vampire ladies, no, they're just mosquitoes, and they basically like drilling people's necks and sucking blood out of them. And Kiria sees this, and they see her, and like, where do you think you're going? And they see her, and they're like, also this frame is just disgusting. I found it very gross. So, anyways, they see her, and then there's so much noise that the staff comes over, like, what's going on here? And then instead of killing her first, because that's the one they saw first, they go after the staff. And I'm like, what about her? But they kill the staff. And then they're like, oh my god, that was great. Now let's go home. And I'm like, okay, what about her? She's right there. And then they see her. Oh wait, we forgot to kill her because she's the main character. We just totally forgot to kill her. They go after her. And the most stupid shit, she fights them off with like mosquito repellent, where she just sprays them and then they're dead. They're just they're gone. And a bunch of stupid shit happens, like, just like that. They never die. I get me having main characters and being like, we want to follow these characters, so let's not kill them off because we want attachment to them. But this shows like bad shit happens so many times. Like, this character got rolled into a tire. This character, I don't know, got spiraled in. Basically, they die in really gross spirally ways, and like, they don't kill the main characters off, obviously. And at the end, I'm like, well, should I even care at this point? Because everyone just dies really gruesome deaths. I'm like, okay, well, that guy's dead. Who cares? That's whatever. And at the end, of course, I was like, maybe they'll survive. Maybe they'll survive this. And they'll be like, they can tell the story because she's narrating in the story. But she doesn't. She and her boyfriend basically die. And I'm like, that was pointless. There was no point to that. And I just don't like the show. It's just really stupid. Because in the whole last episode, it's like a apocalypse going on. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's getting good. But Kiri is the main character, right? She's so boring. She has no, like, oh my god, shit. Her reactions are so boring. Like, her voice acting, I don't know, it's not even the voice acting. I just feel like the character is portrayed that way, where it's like, oh no, I gotta find my parents. Oh no, my brother. You better leave, or they'll eat you. Like, a really gross thing is that these people are, like, obsessed with, like, snail people meat, which I don't think they're people, they're snails. And they're like, you better go because you might get eaten. I'm like, do you have any urgency in your fucking voice? And the guy, her boyfriend, is kind of going insane. He's like, it's the spirals. It's the curse of the spirals. I'm like, I get it, dude. You gotta nail it in. And at the end, they're fine. He just regains his consciousness when it's important. Just like, to explain, like, oh, this spiral happens because of this reason. He just regains his sanity. He's like, oh, I need to explain what's happening to the audience, so let me just regain my sanity for a bit, and then I'll go insane again. Anyways, at the last scene, they fall, and then they're like, oh, we don't have energy to fight anymore, and then they entwine with the spirals, like little snakes mating, and they die, and I'm like, okay, that's fucking pointless. And really stupid plot points, like, oh, they went off to find, like, a way out of this town, so they just skip time. Like, oh, when they came back, years passed. I'm like, what's the point of that? What does that add to the story? I get like, oh, just keep us on our toes. I'm like, that makes. What's the reason? Why is time travel a reason for that? And the explanation, sure, they're like, oh, this probably happens because every century. I don't get any of that. I'm like, okay, that's out of my head. I don't care about this right now. At the end, another dumbass girl shows up. The last scene. Oh, let's leave this town. I'm like. It's like basically like, oh, it's gonna happen again, basically. I'm like, that's so stupid. This show sucks ass. Okay, the only good thing about the show is the ending, which is kind of like the nursery rhyme Kagome. That's a good ending, I guess. This show is fucking stupid. Okay, this show has nothing going for it. Bad characters. Shit happens for no reason, just to make it like, ooh, look at that. That looks so cool, right? Are you disgusted right now? It just happens for no reason. And characters die so often that I don't even have any attachment to it. Or I'm like, oh my god, shocked. Oh my god, shook it. I'm so shocked right now. It's not even that. Characters die. Like, a bajillion characters die every episode. So yeah, don't watch this show. This show fucking sucks. You know what you should watch, though? You watch Ranma 1/2. Ranma 1/2 is good. This shit is stupid. Anyway, that's my review. Pretty negative. But I only talk about negative stuff. I don't talk about good stuff. Because what are we supposed to say? Oh, it's good. It's real good. That's all you say about it. I talk about negative stuff. Anyways, that's my review. Bye.